Hello coders! Hope everybody's well. Bitrate's looking a little low at the moment, so I think I'm probably going to sound a bit like a robot for the first couple of minutes whilst it sorts itself out. I hope everybody's well. It's obviously Sunday, and where's the button? There we go. Today we're going to do the code review of the Tic Tac Toe challenge, and I am going to be announcing the next coding challenge as well. Lo and behold, that will be JavaScript 2. So what we're going to do is that a new room? No, it's just the same room moved. Thank you very much. Hey, Mr. DB303, thank you very much for following and joining today. I'm glad you're here, sir. Because if I go over to this view, wherever the view button's gone, I've moved my desk and I'm getting it's like disorientated. Right. Hey Christian, thank you for joining as well. Now, we're going to be doing the Tic Tac Toe challenge, and I'm going to be announcing the next challenge as well. And I'm glad Mr. DB303 is here because, as you can see on the IDE, that's what it's called. Come on, Pete, use your words. We have Mr. DB303's submission, which is the Tic Tac Toe game. Now, this is the only submission we had for this, which changes a couple of things for the next for the next challenge. So I'll talk about that more when we get to it. But we're going to be taking a look at Mr. DB303's submission. And I suppose the first thing I need to do is talk about what that submission is. So every month, what we do is we have a coding challenge. And it's been fairly popular. We've had quite a lot of people submit their code. They put it on Discord. I then review the code live, like I'm doing today, on Twitch, and then we announce the next one. So, for example, we've had a game. So this, when we went back to March, I believe it was. So we built a fighting game. You can see all the submissions here. And what I do after this is I post the video up onto this website, which is codingchallenges.howtocodewell.net. And this challenge at the moment is the build the Tic Tac Toe game in JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. So yeah, that's cool. Thank you very much, Mr. DB303. And I was having a look at your submission earlier. I pulled it down and I was having a play with it. It looks awesome, and you've also done most of the things I was going to plan to do anyway for the next one. So I think it's good. Okay, so let me just walk through this. So we are going to build a Tic Tac Toe game in JavaScript. It's going to take a couple of months. Well, actually, Mr. DB303 has done it in 1 month because that's how good he is. And this will be the first part. Well, this will be the only part. So building the user interface, that was the idea for this. In the challenge, you'll be setting up I'm just reading off of here. In the challenge, you'll be setting up the game environment and the user interface. You can mix JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. Frameworks are allowed, however, bonus points if you use vanilla JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Well, Mr. DB303 has done just that. It is all vanilla. This is the first part of the challenge. And I haven't actually gone in too much depth in the code. I haven't seen any NPM because I was able just to run it locally. This is the first part of the challenge. This covers the display of the game board. The functionality will be covered in next month's challenge. Well, as I said, Mr. DB303 has done most of the functionality anyway. So level 1, build the game board, build a 3x3 grid in HTML and CSS, center the grid in the middle of the page, which you've done, add borders except for the outside border, make it responsive to different screen sizes, so we'll have a play with that, create a HTML form that allows you to choose your player symbol, crosses or circles. Okay, and then display whose turn it is above the game board. So some form of thing above the game board to say whose turn it is, and then create a restart button to restart the game board as well. So when you're in mid-flight, you can press the restart and then it resets the board. Level 3 is create a leaderboard. So create a leaderboard excuse me, above the game that has the current score and the player's symbol. Create modals. So this is level 4. These will be hidden for now, as we'll be adding the JavaScript to the game next month. And I believe Mr. DB303's done this already. So display a modal if you win, if you lose, if there's a draw, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's take a look. Let's take a look, shall we? So, one thing I noticed when I pulled it down, because what I've done is I've just pulled it down now. What I've noticed is that on Safari, at least, there is a cause issue. So if for instance I did an open of index, and of course this is going to bring it over here. On my laptop, at least, when I was playing with it, I was seeing a couple of issues. Let's load that up into Chrome, MO. It might be better in Chrome. And if I went to View, Developer Tools, right? Yeah. So this one here. So access a script from origin null has been blocked by cause policy. I don't know if this is a browser thing or whether this is JavaScript. I don't know yet. I'm not sure. So the way I got around this, and as you can see, you've got the the form here, which is great. You've got the noughts and the crosses that you can select, but obviously you can't do anything until this is done. So the way I got around this, which was pretty cool, is where is the tab here? Right, is to use PHP's local server, because what you need, of course, is a local host. So what I did is PHP-S, run that. No, that's not it. Capital S localhost, colon, let's do 8082. There we go. So now it's listening to localhost 8082 in the current working directory. So if we open that up and then we ran this like so, there we go, and we can see that that's all done. There's a favicon 404 issue, but whatever, that's all good. So yeah, so we don't have that cause thing. Now I can actually select if I'm noughts or noughts or crosses. Let's do crosses. Let's set the player. There we go. So this is where I got to I was playing with it earlier. So let's close that down. This is looking really, really tasty, really good. I like it. I like the blue. It's nice. And you've got the leaderboard here. This is cunning. I like this because you notice in the game, in the thing here, it says center the grid in the middle, add borders except for the outside border. This is a very clever thing that Mr. DB303's done here. If I was to go to view, I'm assuming this is what he's done. Has he just moved these out by a couple of pixels left and right and top and bottom to make it look like there is a border? Let me have a little look, because that's what I assumed. Is there a border on one of these? Ah, no, there is a border. Okay, forgive me. Okay, I thought you just moved them sort of out the way, which would, give the look of a border. But no, there is a border here. BB. Bottom border. Bottom left, border right, border bottom. Gotcha. Okay. That's a clever way of doing it as well. I like it. Thank you very much, CSW Gaming. If the music's too loud, just shout at me and I'll turn it down. Good old tea. Okay, all right, let's play. Let's play this game. So there's the big restart button, which is great. We are crosses, aren't we? We're crosses, and you've got noughts. So let's put something down in one of these spots. Let's go for the middle one. Okay, so that's put in a nice cross here. Now, the way this works is that the next click is the next player. Okay, so for instance, let's do a click on this one, and you've got 0, which means that the next player should be crosses. So let's put a cross, where should we go? Down here. And then normally you would put one here, wouldn't you? But let's see if we can get the crosses to win. So let's put a 0 here and then a cross there. If we put a cross here, we should win because we've got 3. Let's do that. There we go. Winning move. Win move. Win move 4. So does that mean we've had 4 moves? The board will output here and the winning line highlighted. Gotcha. Okay, so this is kind of a placeholder for what the next challenge would be. Okay, let's close that down. Okay, so we've won a game. All right, let's see if we can do that again. But this time, move in here. Let's put it across there. Obviously, I'm playing against myself, so there we go. Win move in 3. So that should increase. Oh no, we won on 0, didn't we? So that should go to 1. All right, let's see if we can increase this. This is really good. Let's do that one there. There we go. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So another piece of the puzzle, and you can see that's the PHP local server here. Another piece of the puzzle, if we go over to here, was to make it responsive. So let's try that. The best way to do the responsive check is to go to View, Developer, DevTools, and then click on this symbol down here. And obviously I'm in the wrong website, of course. Hello. Let's do that again. Let's do that on the proper website. So let's click on this one and then say, I don't know, iPhone 5. Hey, Booty7, thank you for joining and following. Appreciate it. Today I am code reviewing, although I haven't reviewed any code yet, I'm just playing with a Tic Tac Toe game that Mr. DB303 has kindly created. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking very, very good. In iPhone 5, let's go to iPhone 6. Yeah, nice and tidy. Let's do an iPad. Yep. Let's see if I can break it. Let's do an iPhone 6 and let's see if I can change the orientation. Okay, right, so now we've gone straight back to set player. I'm not sure why. Let's just click on that again. Okay, maybe it's restarted. So let's hit set player. Right, actually that's pretty good. That is pretty good. You can get the game board. You can get the board kind of in the middle there on our horizontal iPhone 6. Sorry, yeah, horizontal. So let's try it. Yeah. I don't know, hang on. Why some of these were okay, so there's a little bit of sort of bleed, I guess, of the text outside of the modal. But it's cool. I like it. I like it. Let's do an iPad again, iPad Pro this time. Okay, so this could be made a wee bit bigger. Let's rotate. Okay, so it looks like when you rotate it, it changes it back. Yeah, so this is a wee bit small, although let's go to 100%. Yeah, so you could have filled a bit more room there, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, it's functional, which is great. As you know, I was looking for things where bits were floating off and all this jazz, but no, this is looking really good. Okay, let's get into the code. Let's get into the code. Okay, so we have our readme.txt, which I believe is the readme that's been pulled off of codingchallenges.howtocodewell.net. I will just paste this into here just in case anybody wants to play with one of these challenges and do the next one. Okay, so we've got an index.html. Okay, so it's using fonts. So we're using what looks like 2 fonts here from Google Fonts, We're using our own style sheet, which is good. I'm looking for frameworks. Where's the JavaScript? At the bottom, probably. And it would main.js. Let's have a little noodle in there. Okay, yes, so it is all pure vanilla. Nice. Okay, let's walk through this, shall we? All right, let's deal with the HTML first. Okay, how did you get those boxes in the middle and 3x3 and all that jazz? So we have after the body, we've got a wrapper here, and then we have another thing that centers all of this stuff. Then we look like we've got a H1 here with text-align center. I'm unsure why there is a center board, center. I don't know if one center could have done all of those things. Let's have a look. Width of 90%, which means that it's you got 5% on the left and right. Plus you got max width. Margin 0 also means that you're putting it in the middle. Yeah, there's no text align center here, so that you would have had to have done that on the H1. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Anyway, so this is this is the first screen, isn't it? This is the first screen, and then down here would be the leaderboard. So I'm assuming these are shown and hidden, I guess, because obviously when you're choosing your player, you don't see any of this stuff, so I'm assuming at some point it's hidden. We'll have a look in the code. And then... here's the board. Okay. So, ID box 0 all the way to box 8. Okay, so you've got an ID per box. That's cool. And then we've got some classes. I'm guessing this is border right, border bottom. Centering of the image. This is a good use of CSS classes. Good. SRCs are a bunch of blank boxes, so I'm guessing this changes. I'm guessing at some point the SRC would change based on the player in which was used. Yeah, gotcha. What I'm doing is I'm guessing the code that I'm going to be reading in the JavaScript when I get to there. Okay, I don't know what these presumably these are positions, right? And I don't know what std dim is, but we'll find that out. Cool. Okay, then after that we've got some okay, so it's using clear, so I'm guessing there's some float left and float right malarkey going on. And then down here you've got the modal, and then the footer. That's a nice touch, thank you very much for that. And then the JavaScript at the bottom. Okay, let's get into that. So let's load up that. Let's open these up. Okay, so we're importing Tic Tac Toe and View from these specific classes, files. Are they classes? Yes, that's a class. And so is that. Okay. All right. Let's ignore those for a second. Let's just work down here. So we've instantiated those classes. I'll delve into those in a second. There is a let game over equals false. Now this couldn't be constant, obviously, because that will change between true and false. Let. This could also be a var, I suppose. And then we've got a function called reset page, which does a location.reload. So, right, okay, so when you click on reset page, it does a location.reload. Nice use of arrow functions there. Here we are adding event listeners. Oh, very tidy. I like this. So we're adding event listeners to the box, to the actual buttons, right? I like it. So does this mean, I've skipped ahead on this, haven't I? Does this mean that there isn't any function calls in this whatsoever? It's just nice and tidy HTML. It is. Look at that. I like this. This means that you can then do whatever you want with the JavaScript, because you're not making the HTML opinionated based on the Java. You're not saying like onClick equals this function call. What you're doing, this is very tidy. You didn't have to do this, of course, but I like the way your head thinks. You are attaching event listeners to these specific things. So for instance, this would be a reset. So you would do btn reset. Let's go and grab this. This is very nice. I like it. So btn, can you see there's nothing like this, right? So there's no like on click. Oops. Sorry. There's no like on click. And then this could be like reset or what have you. Which in my opinion I actually prefer, because it means that the JavaScript can then attach different events to these things. So for instance, when you add an event listener to this, this is going to run the reset page, which we've just seen. If we go up here, it's just there, isn't it? Yeah, so this is saying that we're going to attach this event listener. Now, the trick with this, of course, is that you have to render the actual HTML before you run the JavaScript. So for instance, you couldn't put this up in the head. You have to load all the HTML before you run the JavaScript, because the JavaScript attaches itself using the event listeners and everything to the HTML after the HTML has been painted to the page. Anyway, enough of that. That's a random tangent there. Okay, so this is good. Then we do a let span. I don't know what this is. Span, close, get element by class name, span, close. Okay, and then we're doing okay. Yeah, it's the name span. It doesn't really hold much. You know, it doesn't say what it is. What is a span? Who knows? But it'll close. Oh yeah, it's the modal. There we go. I've worked it out. It's the modal. I've worked it out here. The modal. Gotcha. Hey, BoHater13. Thank you very much for following, and Grub Hacks as well. Thank you very much. Yes, span was for the modal. I gotcha. All right. It's good code. It's good code. This one here, I would put in a triple equals as well, just to check the type, because there. Okay, then down here we got a constant, which is the modal. Okay. So I would say that this is a little unreadable. Just because the span doesn't really infer what it is that you're clicking, but it's the span with the close button. So maybe if that was called close.btn or something like that, close.btn.onClick, you know that is a close button. But you know, again, it's just naming things is difficult in programming. It always has been, and it always will be. Okay, so here we do a process of the function of a click. We pass in e, which is the e event. Then we have ID number. We're parsing that as an integer, so this would be a string. This is what pos means. Gotcha. I love it. Okay, so these are all the positions. Very clever. Okay, I was wondering how you were going to work out if you got 3 in a row. Okay, so we got the positions 1 to 8 down here, and I thought this would be the boxes, but this looks like it's coming from the position. So down in here, and what Mr. DB's done is he said, let's get the ID number of the position, removing pos to a blank string or empty string, right? Which means that you're left over with a string which is a number, and therefore you're parsing that back to an int. Nice. Okay. That's cool. It could have been done in a... well, you could do that in any kind of way, to be honest. You could have used a data, sort of, like this, for instance, data is equal to, and then come up with your own little stuff. So pos is equal to, say, that would be 8. Or something like that, and then you would pull that off of the attribute. But, you know, this is good, doing it as an ID. An ID means that it has to be unique, and it's a unique number, so that would actually make sense. Cool. Okay, and then what we do is we do game.process turn passing in the ID number, and I think game is off of the Tic Tac Toe. We won't have a look at that for a minute. I just want to have a dive down, do a bit more guessing and working out. So we've got game.wasTurn processed. The reason why I haven't gone into that is because I'm reading the code and I'm understanding what these things do by actually reading the methods. We read code far more than we write code, so I can see that we process the turn based on the ID that we've been given of the position, and then here it's saying if was turn processed true, then we do the update. We update the DOM off of the view. So I like that. You've decoupled the game from the view layer, which is good. That's very good. So update DOM, get DOM updated data. So we're obviously returning some form of data based on the DOM that was changed. Okay. Hey, I can't pronounce that. Is it Bullawa? Bullawa? Thank you for following and joining. Hope you're having a good weekend. No, this is Botter13. What I do each month is I set a coding challenge here on Twitch, and the coding challenges go to codingchallenges.howtocodewell.net, this site here. And then what happens is people will submit their challenges to our Discord server, and then what I do is I review these every month at the end of each month. So for instance, these are all the challenges that we've had, and this is what we're doing at the moment. This is Mr. DB303's code, and fine code it is. And he's an honest gentleman, this guy. He said he's copied the code from W3C schools. Fair enough. Good. Fair enough. Thank you. I appreciate your honesty. Okay. Right. So then, if game is equal to over, game over is false. Sorry. Then we do game.reset turn and flip player. Ha. Nice. I like the way you thought of that. Okay. Good. And then under this we do current player text is game.current player text. Current player text is game get. Okay, so this is getting the text of the player. Did I? Don't think I remember setting that, but okay. Game over. Check if game won. Okay, that looks like that is coming back as a boolean. That looks like it's going to get a string. This looks like it's just going to reset and alter the player. This is a boolean again. That's the same as this one. This one here, process turn, this doesn't indicate what is returned, although this is processing that turn. So there must be something. I guess this is kind of like I don't want to say the word constructor, but it's something to do with you're passing in the ID of the process turn, and it's processing it, obviously, which will obviously set some properties within the game. Okay, cool. If game over is false, then we do output players go. Output players go. Okay. Hint mode experimental. All right. So if it's not game over, then we do view output players go, passing in the text of the player, and then game get symbol char. So I'm guessing this would be a naught or cross. Okay. And then we get the score, game.update score. We reset the board. let player. So hang on a minute. I've lost this. This here is if we haven't. Yeah, sorry. This is if we haven't got a game over. So this is if the game continues. This is when the game finishes. I see. Okay. All right. And then down here we've got an if statement. Are there positions left? And gamer. Okay. One thing I would suggest, just to read this from a sort of a cyclomatic complexities point of view, is to minimize the amount of ifs of decision points in this process click, because there's one if statement here, there's an if statement in here, then there is an if statement and an else statement, and then there's an if statement here as well. Yeah, it just seems a little like it's doing a lot. I know that this says process click, but this is it's quite an abstract thing here. But anyway, after this, we process, that's the process symbol, game, set symbol, radio button value. So that's the button value that you've chosen. I see. Okay, that's cool. Let's now go up to Tic Tac Toe.js. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. This is the clever stuff. So these are, oh, this is good. This win positions, all the possible winning positions. I'm blown away by that. You've come up with all the possible winning positions that you could ever possibly have. That is so cool. Wow. Okay. That's very clever. All right. So that answers my question of how have you worked out the positions. And am I right in thinking that these numbers here represent the integers coming off of these things? Or maybe not. Hang on a minute. Because that was... Hang on. POS1. Let me see. There is a 0 there. Perhaps not. Okay. Array only needs to be one-dimensional. This board equals array. This would be setting them all to zeros, right? So... Oh, I see. No. This isn't the way. This is... Okay, no, that's different, isn't it? So this is 0, as in... Yeah, okay. Yeah, I get that. Okay. And then this score... Yes. 0 to 9. Okay. Right, okay, yeah. Gotcha. So this is more like a configuration sort of matrix here. Okay, there's a wee bit of duplication. Like for instance here, that looks very similar to this stuff. Resetting the board, processing the turn. So this is levied off of this, isn't it? So not that. Sorry. This, when you, where am I going? What am I doing? Who am I? Here we are, process click. Process click processes a turn. I see, okay. Okay, so this is selected position blank, if that is a blank position, and if that is true. If this is position blank. So I guess this means if this position hasn't already been taken, is that correct? Then we do rand. Why are we doing random stuff? Hang on a minute, let me have a look at that. We are doing random stuff. I don't understand. This is either going to be 1 or 2, isn't it? Math.random times by 2 plus 1. And we're going to floor it. Hang on. I'm confused. I am a little confused here. Let me wrap my head around this for a second. Where does this go? What's this doing? after we've got the random 1 or 2, this random int is equal to this. I'm not 100% sure what this is doing. Then we update the sequence. Update the board. What does update board do? Whoops. No. Hang on. There we go. Update board. This board, and then you put in the ID equals this current player. Oh, right. Okay. Okay, that's cool. So we're saying that at this point in the board of the position that you've supplied, this dot current player. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's scroll back up to the top here. This is then saying, are there any positions left? Man, this is very in depth. If game was turn processed. Turn processed. Okay, so there's a boolean here, isn't there? Turn processed is true, and I suppose that's false. Yeah, it is by default. Okay, some of this seems a little bit overcomplicated. Update the DOM. Let's have a look at that. Document dot getting the position and then getting the ID. Yeah, so like this thing here is very similar to wherever it's gone. This. So there's two ways that you've got the ID number back. This way, and I've gone and lost it. Is it update up place? One of these things. I can't find it. It's gone. I'm sure there was. Honest, I saw one. No, it's left. Maybe not. Maybe I was looking at something odd, but I thought I saw a means of getting that back. Do we have parse? Parse in position, just those two. I'm sure I saw something. Anyway. Okay, and then this is the switcheroo of the player. Oh, hang on. Starting player, yeah. So there's a wee bit of refactoring you could do just to make this a little bit tighter. Like for instance, switch player and starting player, they're very similar. You're saying that current player and player go first. You're checking that integer, and then you're setting this stuff here, right? Which is very similar to this stuff. So this could be in its own little function, and you could be passing in things like player go first. Yeah, it just seems like it could be sort of broken down a little bit and sort of like moved the responsibility moved outside of this class. But hey, you know, it works, right? It works. Get symbols, get symbol char. Is selected position blank? That's good. I've noticed in some of these methods, when you're returning a boolean, you're not doing is, but here you are. So if you've got a method and you're returning a boolean, it's almost like you're like true or false. It's almost like you're asking a question. So, you know, is it true? Is it false? Is this selected position blank? And you're returning true or false based on based on whatever you've given it. This is also good. This is also done in a question form. So was the turn processed? But I think I did see somewhere. There, the checking. Check your winning move. So this could be renamed to something like, is it your winning move, or something along those lines, rather than check, because check, the word check kind of could also imply that it's actually going to process something and do something. Which I suppose this is, because this is now doing check for win, but that's doing check for win, and this is actually doing the asking the question. This is doing the performing the action. This is asking the question. So yeah, just a couple of tweaks here and there. Right. Random was a random selection for hand-drawn images of the two. What? You've done hand-drawn images? Hang on a minute. This guy goes above and beyond. He has as well, look. So that's the blank space. That's the cross. I love it. Oh, look at that. Yes. Okay, I see. So 1 or 2. 1 or 2. I see. Okay. Oh, what do you like? What do you like? Okay, I'm gonna take a look at Vue.js now. Okay, so we have a constructor here. Let's just move all of this out. This .player go is CSS element for outputting the turn. Okay, cool. This is the update the DOM, passing in a DOM object. Right, I see. This again is very similar to getting that position back from here. When I see two classes that have similarities between the two in some of these things, like for instance, getting this back, it often kind of infers that there needs to be a third class that is more of a utility class that has these kind of features that both classes can work on if you either inject them or call them statically. Okay, so then we got some methods here for outputting the player's go. What is player? Set player. This output to player. Okay, I will have a look and see what is in main, I think, and we'll compare that with Vue. So let's say, for instance, set player. And go into main. Is it the num player turn num value and player turn text value? Player turn, what's that? Player turn is switch starting players. Let's have a look at this. Okay, right. So this is returning a JSON object. A JavaScript object. Num value and the text value. Players first go, and so this would be, and then I suppose, are we doing the similar thing with switching the players? No, we're just setting the properties of them. Okay, I see. Okay, cool. Where are we? View. Outputs player, output modal. Reset the board, score, set score. T1, T2, table 1, table 2, or table row 1 or table row 2. Changing the inner text to the scores that were given off of here. In the instance where scores are equal to both players. Okay, so you've done the draw here, which is good. Are in the first place, so change the table accordingly. Yeah, these were tables. My IDE crying about? Assigned expression type number is not assignable to type of string. Okay. So there looks like there needs to be some casting going on in these two. Awesome. That looks really good. I'm really good. Really impressed with this. Not only have you created this in without any frameworks whatsoever. Let's mention that first. You've done this completely, just writing code, which is great because there's frameworks here that could help you out with this kind of malarkey. You could have done this in Vue or React. And had the ability to deal with prop types and all of this jazz, or properties and mounting bits and pieces and creating components for certain bits. For each one of those tiles could have been a component tile, that kind of stuff. Could have done all of that jazz, but you've decided to go down the hard route, which is awesome. I appreciate that, and create it all in vanilla JavaScript, which is impressive. Yeah, a couple of things, as I mentioned. There are a few places where I think the code could be renamed to make it a little bit more readable. There's also very sort of similar code in certain places. Maybe they're returning things differently or what have you, but I think maybe push out some of the similar code into utility methods, make another class, that kind of thing. That does all of those samey things, and then just naming of the methods to make it more like reading a book. I did this, I did that, I get this. Is this true? Is this false? Those kind of things. That's really good. I'm impressed. Okay, so let's move on to the next the next challenge. Now, we were going to continue on and do a lot of other things for this. However, as Mr. DB303 is the only challenger to submit code, and he's also done a lot of stuff that was going to be in the next challenge anyway. It seems like a good point to pivot and actually create something totally different. Why not? And as it's what's the date today? It is the 11th of October. We are staring into the end of the year like some crazy fall. I think it's a good idea to do a challenge that is around Christmas. I think. Now, I haven't actually typed this up yet, so we're gonna have to do a bit of typing, unfortunately. How do you feel about doing a challenge that involves still JavaScript, creating an advent calendar? Does that sound good? So create an advent calendar. This is just coming out of my head now. Create an advent calendar in JavaScript, very similar to this sort of setup, in the sense of you've got boxes that represent each day, okay, and you can only open the box or click on the box or see what's behind the box if the day's date is greater than the date on the box, greater than or equal to. So for instance, you couldn't just suddenly go into day number 24. The idea being is that by the time we get to review this challenge, and this challenge is going to go it will go to the end of November, because we're supposed to do this at the end of every month, but this is the 11th of October. So I'll give you the rest of October, and then all of November to do this challenge. And I think what we should do is in each of the boxes, if you click on a box, it should come up with a modal like Mr. DB303's done here. Hey Marco, thank you for joining. And I think in the modal we should have sort of a title and then some text and maybe a link, maybe even an embedded video. Okay, and I'm thinking it should be the content of each Advent box should be 24 things that I've learnt this year in coding, with a link to maybe an article that you've read, or a Stack Overflow post, or even a YouTube video that you want to embed. Meaning that you're basically using this as a means of reviewing your own progress over the year in code. So that's what does that sound good? Did that make sense? Let's go over to the Coding Challenges website. This is the repo. Let's just pull this down, and I will create a new challenge. So I will just copy this, and we'll call this one November, because this one is going to span through October to the end of November, I think, because then it'll be a good thing. You know, we've just hit December. Let's go and take a look at these. So let's do 2020. Let's do November. The date is today's date, which is the 10th of the 11th, and we're going to do build a coder's advent calendar. Again, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. And if we did okay, so obviously this is the stuff of the current challenge, so we'll get rid of all of this stuff for a second. So we are going to create a advent calendar using JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. And what I'm thinking is, like, next year we could look at this and improve it. So if you've done your challenge for this time, next year, and what I'm thinking is next year we could pull in data from a PHP API that we build. That's where my head's going. So we're going to create an advent calendar, an advent calendar using JavaScript and HTML and CSS. Each day, so when we open each day, a modal will appear displaying something that has been learnt in 2020. We'll display something in web development that has been learnt in 2020 that I have something in web development. Okay, this could be each day. Hang on a minute. Okay, let's just do the level. So level 1, I'll get back to that in a minute. So level 1, create a grid of so let's just do display. Let's just do interface. Okay. Create a grid of days, okay, of 24 days. Each day must show the day number and be animated. Actually, that could be level 2, isn't it? All right, level 2. Animate. Animate the days when rolled over. When rolled over. We'll do show modal when a day is clicked, right? Show a modal, that should be the other way around, isn't it? When a day is clicked, show a modal with a title, a description, and links to something. Let's change that to the other tense. So something you have learnt in 2020. So this could be a title, description, stroke code. So this is something that gets displayed as like a pop-up, and in there it says something like, you know, this is what I've learned, or, you know, this article teaches yada yada yada. This is what I needed. When a day is clicked, show a modal with a title, description, stroke code, and links to something you have learnt in 2020. Okay. Level 3 is embed a YouTube video. So add a video from a conference, from a talk, from a conference, or a tutorial that has helped you in 2020. Add a video on one hang on, let me think about it. On some of the days, on some of the modals, there we go, modals, add a video. Actually, no, getting my words wrong. Add a video from a conference or a tutorial that has helped you in 2020 to some of the modals. Okay, make sure, this is going to be tricky, make sure that the modal is still responsive. Yeah, responsive video. Okay. Now, we'll get to the animation in a bit. Next level, which is 4. Level 4. I'll tidy all of this up in a minute. Level 4 is to only allow days past, only allow days to be clicked. Only allow modals to be shown if the day is before or on the current day. So you cannot click on the 24th day when it is the 1st, of December, for instance. And we'll get to the animation because there's other things to animate. Okay, so level 1 is the interface. So create a grid of 24 days. Each day must show the day number. And yeah, that'll do. Level 2 is when a day is clicked, show a modal with the title, description, stroke code, and links to something you have learnt in 2020. Level 3 is embedded YouTube video. Actually, let's just embed a video. It doesn't have to be YouTube. Embed a video or stroke podcast, you know, whatever. If you want to do a podcast, that's fine. Podcast. Add a video stroke podcast from a conference or a tutorial that has helped you in 2020 hang on, that doesn't make sense. Add a video from a conference or a tutorial that has helped you in 2020 to some of the modals. Okay, make sure that the modal is still mobile responsive. Level 4, only allow modals to be shown if the day is before or the current day. To be shown if the day is, that should be on or before, not the other way around, the current day. Yeah? Does that make sense? Okay, so for instance, you cannot click on the 24th day when it is only the 1st of December. And then level 5, animate the days when rolled over. So animate the days when rolled over. Animate the modal. When opened. And there's something that you're probably going to ask is, can I use frameworks? Yes. You can use frameworks. But yeah, you can use frameworks like Vue or React. Go for it. Go nuts. It's Christmas. So level 1 interface. Create a grid of 24 days. Each day must show the day number. I'm going to say you can use frameworks like Vue or React, but bonus points given to those who use vanilla JavaScript and CSS. You know, you could use this. You could use Vue or React. I think it leans quite well to React because you would have a component per day, you would have a component of for the modals, and then you would have, depending on the type of content in the modal, you will have a modal component for like an embedded video, stroke an embedded podcast, that kind of jazz. Cool. Okay, so then I guess up here I'm going to say something like this, or the code will be reviewed live on Twitch. And let's put some dates to the ground, because one thing I want to do with this website is I want to actually put a date on. So let me have a look at the calendar now. Where are we? We are on the 11th. Right, we're going to do this all the way into November. So let's say we do this on the 29th of November, yeah? On Twitch will be reviewed on the 29th of November. On Twitch. HTTPS // and how to code well.net, because the site is now live. Woohoo! Okay. Am I missing anything? Yeah, I am. Animations. Yes. Create a make it snow. There we go. Make it snow. Okay, now there is an issue here, because obviously we're going to turn off all the days, right? So you can't actually click on a day. So when I actually go to review this, we're obviously going to be in November, so we can't actually click and test. So there needs to be some form of switch, something that says you can and you cannot click on the days. Obviously there's no way of me actually testing this. So only allow modals to be shown. Okay, level 5. Oh, I don't know if you can hear it, but that's Murphy. He's I've got a funny story about Murphy. I'll tell you in a minute. It's all right. Door's shut. He's obviously barking at my wife's downstairs. It's fine. Oh, and that's cold tea. I'm gonna get another one in a minute. Level 5. What was I doing? I was doing what was I doing? Create a switch that, when clicked, allows you to uncover future dates. Okay, and so we're going to make it snow, but I also want to animate automatically open the current date, the current day, and show the modal in a fancy animation. Okay, all right, I think that's good. All right, so essentially create a grid of 24 days, right? Each day will be numbered, so you'll, 1 to 24, that kind of thing. When you click on a day, show a modal with a title, description, stroke code, and links to something that you have learned in web development in the past year. So if you've got on your bookmarks a bunch of links that you've bookmarked this year on things that you've learned that's helped you become a better programmer this year, provide those links, right? And then sort of like go through all those and then assign those to a particular day, right? This could be video, could be podcast, could be a conference, could be a tutorial, whatever. It could be a Stack Overflow post, whatever. As long as there's a description of what you've learned and maybe a code snippet and a title of a thing. It doesn't have to be a book. It's just a blog post or a paragraph. I learned this, or this does that. And then, anyway, add a video. So yeah, we've done that. And then level 4, only allow them. That should be modals. Only allow modals to be shown if the day is on or before the current day. For instance, you cannot click on the 24th day when it's only the 1st of December. And then level 5, create a switch. Create a toggle switch that when clicked, that allows, let's just write this up again, allows you to uncover future dates. And then level 5 is the fancy stuff. Animate the days when you roll over them. So when you roll over them, I want them to shimmer or change color or get bigger or whatever you want to do. And then when you open them, maybe spin, come up, transition, animate the modal when it's open. And then automatically open the current day and show the modal in a fancy animation. So when you refresh the page on that particular day, if you haven't opened that already, ta-da, show it already open. So maybe you could use something like local storage to store the days that you've already opened, or if you've already opened this day. Otherwise, you'll keep refreshing the page and it'll just keep showing off. I don't know, however you want to do it. And then obviously, make it snow. Ah, that's clever. Yeah. The old-fashioned trick of changing the date of your current operating system. Yeah, I could do that, but I think we should have a toggle. Like a tester's toggle. Yeah. But no, good shout. We could do that. Yeah, I think we'll have a toggle mind. Yeah. I'm going to go away and grab a cup of tea because this is now gone horribly cold. And I will be back. But yeah, thank you for watching me type all that. If you've got any questions, do let me know and I'll answer them as soon as I'm back. I won't be long, just a couple of minutes. Just getting another cup of tea. Hello. Where's the button gone? There we go. Hello. Yeah, so I think this is going to be alright. I reckon this is in my head, this is a good idea, apart from the fact that I can't spell vanilla. I think this is okay. Let me work that out. Hold on. And I think that we could improve this in the future, in a future challenge. So I'm pretty happy, I think. Let me just review it again. So we're going to create an advent calendar using JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. I suppose we should say that this is a Christmas. Although I don't know what other advent calendars there are, but so we're going to create a Christmas advent calendar using JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. A Christmas advent calendar for coders. This will be using. This will be built in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Okay. When we open each day, a modal will appear displaying something in web development that you have learned in 2020. Okay. This could be a snippet from a blog post, an embedded YouTube video, podcast, or stack, or other things. Yeah, this could be a snippet from a blog post, an embedded YouTube video, come on, YouTube's not the only video platform, Pete. Podcasts or other things, things like that. Other things that have helped you in your 2020 developer journey. All about the journey. Okay. You can use frameworks like Vue or React, but bonus points given to those who use vanilla JavaScript and CSS. The code will be reviewed live on the 29th of November on Twitch. I think it sounds better if this will be reviewed live on Twitch on the 29th of. I think it's better if it's that way around. Of November. Full stop. All right. So level 1, create a grid of 24 days. Each day must show the day number. Must display. When a day is clicked, show a modal with the title, description, code, and links to something that you have learned in 2020. Full stop. Add a video podcast from a conference or tutorial. I'm just going to get rid of the conference. From a tutorial that has helped you in 2020. To some of the modals. Right, make sure that the modal is mobile responsive. Only allow modals to be shown if the day is on or before the current day. For instance, you cannot click on the 24th day when it is the 1st of December. Create a toggle that allows you to uncover future dates uncover is not good. Allows you to click on future dates. Level 5, animate the days when rolled over, animate the modal when opened, automatically open the current day, and show the modal in a fancy animation. And then make it snow. Make it snow. I think this is good. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this. I'll build it. It's in Gatsby, so let's go to. I think it's coding challenges. LS, yes. Let's do an NVM use stable. Let's do a Gatsby develop. Because I use makefiles in my other projects, I have to remember what what the actual command, the normal command, the out-of-the-box command actually is. All right, whilst that's building through, I just want to have a look what it's like, and then we'll push it up. Yeah, essentially this is kind of. Oh, there's a problem here. This is kind of a way of showing what you've learned in 2020. I think this is a nice way of doing that. A nice way of sort of reminding you what you've learned. I suppose there's another level you could randomize it if you wanted to. Okay, what's going on? There's an ES link here. Okay, although that has passed, so let's just run this. Okay, build a coder's advent calendar. I don't know why it looks so small. There we go, 100%. Just going to proofread it again. We are going to create a Christmas advent calendar for coders. This will be built in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. When we open each day, a modal will appear displaying something in web development that you have learnt in 2020. That sentence doesn't make sense in my head. Hey Turnid, thank you for subscribing for 11 months. Wow, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. We are getting ready for Christmas with this Build a Coder's Advent Calendar. Thank you very much. Hey Turnid, thank you. I hope you're having a good weekend. I promised everyone a funny story about Murphy. I'll do that in a minute. Just want to read through all this. This could be a snippet from a blog post, an embedded video. Could be a snippet from a blog post, an embedded video, podcast, or other things that have helped you in your 20. Again, my words. You can use frameworks like Vue, React, but bonus points given to those who use vanilla JavaScript and CSS. The code will be reviewed live on Twitch on the 29th of November. Yeah, that makes sense. Level 1, create a grid of 24 days. Each day must display a number. Level 2, when clicked, show a modal with a title, description, code, and links to something you have learnt in 2020. Level 3, add a video stroke podcast from a tutorial that has helped you in 2020 to some of the modals. Make sure that the modal is mobile responsive. So if you embed a video, have fun with that. Only allow modals to be shown if the day is on or before the current day. For instance, you cannot click on the 24th day when it is only the 1st of December. Level 5, create a toggle switch that allows you to click on a future dates. I've gone and done another level 5, isn't it? This should be level 6. Animate the days, animate the modal when opened, animate automatically open the current day and show the modal in a fancy animation. Make it snow. Let's put this down as sort of lists. It's probably best, isn't it? It's a crazy period. Yeah. Crazy, crazy, crazy. I hope it chills out for you as the year moves on. Has that now changed to, yeah, here we go. I just want to read this again. We are going to create a Christmas advent calendar for coders. This will be built in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. When we open each day, a modal will appear. I don't like that. I think I should say something along the lines of display a modal when a day, when clicking on a day. Come on, full stop. This modal will display something in web development that you have learned in 2020. Man, I don't envy you. I really don't, Tyrannid. A new house during lockdown. Man, I can only imagine the stresses and the excitement that you're having. I mean, I went to the hardware shop yesterday, and you know, all masked up and everything. It's just a completely different world out there to what it was. And it's the small things, right? So I asked to, I needed to get a long drill piece because I'm drilling holes into the house, and I needed to get a longer drill piece. And the drill piece I needed was so long that it was sort of secured in with some sort of lock thing. So then I had to go and ask some assistant to unlock it whilst being socially distanced. It was just and then dodging all the other customers like some form of weird computer game. It's like, are you going to go down this aisle? Am I going to go down this aisle? You know, and they're, you know, trying to be as polite as I am, offering, you know, do you want to go first? Everything just took so long. Nuts. Yeah, funny though, you gotta laugh. Oh, it's really difficult to follow my streams. Is that something that I'm doing wrong, or is that just a case of just timings of things? Yeah. I hope it's not a case of, oh, timings, good. I was hoping you weren't going to say something like, because the quality of them are rubbish. chopping out of the audio here and there. Okay. I'm glad you're still laughing though. Too much stuff to do to follow. Yeah. You get what's that thing? Info guilt, where you're guilty of. There's so many things happening, and you don't have enough time to deal with all of these things. But you know, you're moving. You know, a house move is huge. All the things that I remember having to do that I didn't anticipate needing to do, and having to do anyway, because I didn't realize I would need to do them. Yeah. One word: spreadsheets. That kept me sane. Anyway, I want to just proofread this for the 10th billionth time, just to get this right, we are going to create a JavaScript advent calendar for coders. This is the next challenge. This will be built in JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Display a modal when clicking on a day. This modal will display... I don't like the wording. Display a modal. I think we should do... When clicking on a day, a modal should appear, like magically out of the trees. When clicking on a modal, when clicking on a day, a modal should appear. There we go. This modal will display something in web development that you have learned in 2020. Ow! Sorry, I've just kneed my microphone stand. This should be a snippet from a blog post, an embedded. This could be, not should be. This could be a snippet from a blog post, an embedded video, podcast, or other things that have helped you in 2020. That have helped you in 2020. Let's get rid of that. Alright. You can use frameworks like Vue or React, but bonus points given to those who use vanilla JavaScript and CSS. The code will... Whoa. The code will be reviewed live on Twitch on the 29th of November. Excellent. Level 3's heading is different. Oh, it is. So it is. Thank you for that, Mr. DB. 303, thank you. Create a grid of 24 days. Each day must display the day number. Level 2, when a day is clicked, show the modal. Show a modal. Display a modal. Display a modal with a title, description, stroke code, and links to something you have learned in 2020. Level 3, add a video podcast. Add a video. And or podcast from a... that doesn't even make sense. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just say add a video. Add a video tutorial. Embed a video tutorial. Even better. Embed a video tutorial that has helped you in 2020 to some of the modals. Make sure that the modal is still... make sure the modal is mobile responsive. Only allow modals to be shown if the day is on or before the current day. For instance, you cannot click on the 24th day when it is only the 1st of December. Level 5, create a toggle that allows you to click on future dates. Level 5, animate. So animate the days when rolled over, animate the modal when opened, automatically open the current day and show the modal in a fancy animation, like some sort of... and then make it snow, because it's Christmas. Should we do a randomization? No, I don't think so. I think this is alright. Let me just go back into the browser, refresh. Let's just make sure this looks relatively decent. Sweet. I need a title here, don't I? And there. And I've called this level 6. Ugh. Right, sorry about this. Level 6. Level 5 is toggle. Level 5, go into the future. Level 4 is keep those modals hidden. Okay, level 2, when clicked on a day, display... display the modal. Okay. Let's have another look. There we go, interface, display the modal, embed a video stroke podcast. And let's just get rid of a podcast, doesn't matter. Embed a video, keep those modals hidden, go into the future and animate. Sounds good. Okay, I am now going to commit this. It's going to go to master. Adding the... is it? Yeah, adding the November challenge. There we go. So you've got all of October, the rest of October, and then all of November to do this. There is a selfish reason why I want to do this as well, and that is because I know that the end of October is going to be super busy for me. So this is my cheeky way of getting out of doing a code review. To be fair, right, I have been on a little bit of a holiday. Well, I say a holiday. I'm a freelancer, and I haven't done any work for freelance clients this week. I've done a lot of work for How to Code Well this week. I don't actually, yeah. I've also done a lot of walking with Murphy, which is great. But anyway, I just know that when I get back next week, it's going to be like full on busy. And I know, and I just can just predict that when it comes to the end of October, I'm just going to have to cancel and postpone the, postpone the code review again. So I'm kind of preempting that. It's only a week or so that's fine. Yeah, avoiding stuff. Yeah. So, boom. This is my new new overlay that I'm using for the podcast when I do it live on YouTube. We did a live one last week. That was fun. That was last Thursday. And I'm thinking of doing some more. I've got some topics that I want to talk about. Still considering how I'm going to deal with audience questions and stuff when they come in, because we had some questions on Thursday which were great, but they weren't anything to do with the topic I was talking about. Which is fine, it's just the way it goes. It took me into a bit of a different direction, shall we say. And also I'm testing this out because I want to get a guest on live and talk to them live on YouTube, and then push this up to the podcast, or iTunes, Spotify, that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking with the audience sort of participation, maybe doing questions at the end, and maybe not paying so much attention on the chat as I do on Twitch. I'm going to change this because this is now... I'm going to go back to this view just because I can see it jumping up and down. I need to sort out the network here. That's one thing I need to do. And that's why I got the big drill piece, because I'm drilling holes to put cables through walls and stuff. At the moment, this office is powered by, the network is running through the mains, using one of those power line adapters, and it's really bad. Really, really bad. This is why I want to get a hard wire from downstairs router up into the server rack here, which you might be able to see. Can I show you that? There. There's not a lot of light on it, actually. Can I... That's even more terrible. You might be able to make out some of the network equipment. Anywho, yeah. So once that's all wired up, the network should be quicker. I wouldn't have to go through the mains, which keeps dropping, and changing the. Having different, I want a nice consistent bit rate. At the moment it's going up and down, which sucks. Anyway, yeah, so one thing I've been doing is, this week, we've been going on some really nice long walks with Murphy, which has been fantastic. And we had, he's had a swimming lesson, So there's this place near us where he's been in the forest, where it's like this sort of river, and then these kind of like pools of water that kind of come off of the river, and he's been swimming in that, which is great, which is awesome. But anyway, the other evening, my cat brought in one of my cats brought in a mouse, and they didn't really know what to do with it, because they're old. They're about 8 years old now, and they bring things in and then they don't do anything with them. They usually bring in leaves, which is fine because it's just a leaf. You pick it up and you put it in the bin. But this was a mouse, and he brought in this mouse, and he kind of just left it, and it obviously scurried around. And for about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours last night, this was going all the way into the early hours of the morning, I was downstairs trying to find this bloody mouse, and the cat was just sat in the middle of the room like, I don't know what to do with it. I walked from the living room into the room where the mouse was. Murphy, as soon as he smelt something in the air, was wrong. I have never seen him change so much. He just went into pure sniffer mode. He's an English Springer Spaniel, and he knew that there was some animal in this house that shouldn't be in this house. So he snuffed it out, and then the mouse ran out of the room into the living room under the sofa. So Murphy was sniffing around the sofa. I pulled the sofa out, and Murphy just jumped on this mouse, laid one paw on the mouse's tail, didn't let the mouse go, and just sat there looking at me like, I've got it. Yeah, man. I know that was a proud moment. That was a proud dog parenting moment. Yeah. I gave him a treat after that. My cats were like, eh. Yeah, just on it. But one of the things that I'm slightly concerned about is that when we're in the forest, because we walk a lot in the forest, that's close to where we are. If he was to get wind of another smell like that, what would he do? How will we get him back? That kind of stuff. Because he's now got to a point where he's exploring. So we'll throw the ball off, and then he'll run to the left or to the right and go exploring, and then come back. He's always kind of in eye shot. But what he would do if he caught wind of something, and then it's a concern. But it's probably like a parental concern that is just sort of, you just get that it would be perfectly fine. He would just come back. It's just always that sort of worry, But yeah, he held it long enough for me to get this massive orange box. I'm not squeamish when it comes to rats, sorry, it was a mouse. But when a mouse runs fast, it kind of freaks me out a little bit, because they are quick buggers, they are. So I got this big orange box, and I just put it on top of him, and then I slid a piece of cardboard underneath the box. And yeah, he just sat there with the mouse's tail. He obviously didn't want to damage the mouse, which was super sweet, but at the same time, he knew that the cats were trying to get it, I was trying to get it, and he just sat there waiting. He was like, what are you going to do? It was so cool. It was so cool. Unfortunately, when the cats were younger, they were bringing in a lot of mice. This is in the previous home. And we got to one point where they were bringing in like 6, 7, 8 mice a day. It was like on a conveyor belt. I'm sure they've killed generations of mice. We were living next to a field. Not a field, a big greeny patch. Like a big green bit. I don't know what you would call it. A hedgerow, I guess. That was where, in the previous place we were living. And they would just bring mice back, continually. And so... And what they would do is they would play with them. They were evil, evil, evil cats. They would play with them. They would like, yeah, they would just not make the mice walk properly. Let's just say that, and or think straight. And so, yeah, you ended up just feeling sorry for these damn mice. And unfortunately, you know, you would have to. You can't just let a mouse just sort of die. You have to put it out of its misery, right? So there was a lot of times where I would have to take this rodent outside and give it a bash. Yeah. But I had thought that when we moved here, which was like 2 years ago, the cats were like over that, and they were like, you know, the Flick was just bringing in leaves and stuff, which was perfectly fine. We just hoover up all the leaves. But no, last night he brought in a mouse, and actually thinking about it now, I think it was a few months ago, he brought in a frog. But once he brings them in, you see, he doesn't chase them, he just leaves them. Whereas he used to chase them. And that was a game. But now he just kind of leaves them. For Murphy. I hope that's not going to turn into a game. Because usually when the cats bring in a leaf, Murphy chews the leaf. And we find, the following morning, lots of like bits of leaves downstairs and stuff. So I'm hoping we're not going to find bits of mice. So does that does this sound? Let's see if this has been deployed. Let's see if this has gone up. Let's come out of this. Let's refresh. Has that gone? Yes. Build a Coder's advent calendar. Here we go. Halloween is... I know, right? Why is it that the cats are starting to turn evil around Halloween? What is with that? That's the website. Codechallenges.howtocodewell.net. That is the site. You've got until the 29th of November to hey, you know, that's a really good idea. Tyrannid, that's a really good idea. Why don't we do a 1 year? We obviously can't do it this year because we're doing this year. But 1 year we should do something to do with Halloween. I can't think of what that would be, but that would be great if we did like a Halloween stream. Yeah. Right, it's coming up to the top of the hour in the sense of 2 hours worth of streaming, so I am going to shoot off. I've got a bunch of stuff to do with How to Code Well and that I need to get done by tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm now back on, I'm back working with clients tomorrow, so I have put How to Code Well, the API and CMS in Symfony 5. We have upgraded that, so that's a big tick off. But there are some other little niggles and stuff. There were some things around GDPR that I need to sort out, because the next phase of beta is to allow people to actually log in. And so there's going to be some data that I hold, such as your email. And because of GDPR laws, I need to create a terms of service and privacy policies. It's good practice to do all that stuff anyway, but there's a bunch of that stuff. I need to look in and see what's involved with that tonight. So I'm going to shoot off. Yeah, sorry. I just know that writing a terms of service and a privacy policy is just so boring, but it has to be done. It has to be done. Thank you ever so much, everybody, for joining. Happy coding, everybody, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Thank you, Mr. DB, for all of your hard work. Perfect piece of code there. Awesome. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.